That I gave up between $30,000 and $60,000 a month. And I could go back to porn today and still make that. I could go back to porn and make $20,000 just in 1 week if I wanted to this week. And I don't, because that's how much I don't want my photos on the internet. People treat me as if I am a pedophile. They don't treat me like an ex-sex worker. They treat me like I would somehow be damaging to children.
A simple question, like, how would you like to be treated?
Oh my gosh, I've never thought about that. God, I never even, that is so simple. I guess, like, I would, I wish that people would treat me how they would treat a married, registered nurse with 2.5 kids in Indiana. That's how I wish people would treat me.
How would that change your life if they treated you that way?
I would be so happy. I don't know. I never even thought about that before. But it'll never happen. That's probably why I don't think about it. I learned that there are some things that no matter how open-minded you are, other people will never be, and that you shouldn't do. And I send a very strong message to young girls: don't do porn, because as much I understand it, you want to embrace your sexuality, you want to say screw the man, screw whatever, like I can do what I want with my body, but you're just gonna have a life of crap in front of you and dealing with people and companies, and you know, companies are allowed to turn you down for work because of anything they want, and you know, they have morality clauses. You can never work with children after you do porn. You can never work in a medical field after you do porn.
As soon as the camera started rolling, it's like Satan came to me and says, it's almost like I could see the devil say, see, Shelley, everyone will love you now. I'll make you famous.
It's the kind of fame few people imagine.
It's like suddenly the producer went, where did you get this girl from? And so immediately I went from doing maybe an amateur to doing professional adult films with some of the famous porn stars.
Shelley Lubin even won an award for Best New Rising Porn Star. But her claim to fame came with a high price.
A nice man walked over to me, and then he put his arm around me. He says, you know, there's a man in the apartment complex who thinks you're real pretty, and he wants to make love with you, and you can make $35. I went, oh, I was horrified. I mean, I'd had sexual intercourse before, but I had never prostituted myself. But then a part of me is like, you know what? I have no food. My parents don't care. God doesn't care. Why not? Because you know what? I don't care about myself anymore. And so I ended up being lured into the sex industry that way.
Prostitution turned into a way of life. She got pregnant by a client, but decided to keep her baby. Over the next several years, Shelley would wrestle with her lifestyle and the relationship she had with God as a child.
I never lost my faith in him, but I felt like I lost my trust in him. I felt like I couldn't trust anyone, and I needed to do what I needed to do. That was how I justified it.
Prostitution lost its allure. Shelley feared being raped or thrown in jail like other women.
And someone says, why don't you do porn? I said, porn? And they said, yeah. I said, I never even thought about that. Who do you talk to? And she goes, yeah, do you know that they pay you like $2,000 for a movie? I said, for one movie? I said, well, how hard can it be? It's probably just like prostitution, only it's legal, and I wouldn't go to jail. So that really appealed to me.
But what Shelley didn't know is the price she would have to pay as a porn star. Her first day on the set she found out.
Right when I walked in, it's like this satanic, dark anointing just fell on me. It was creepy, it was dark, it was eerie, it was nothing like prostitution. It was like, I knew that I was in the devil's territory. This was like the final frontier of Satan. And I just was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm gonna do this.
Shelley went through with it, and her career took off. The fame and money became addictive. Behind the scenes, she fell apart.
I didn't think I could walk away from the porn because what other option did I have?
During her darkest moments, Shelley felt God's love reaching out to her, even sensing God's spirit before she would go before the cameras.
He used to come in the room and go, please don't do this. He really did. He said, Shelley, please don't do this. I said, well, you're not taking care of me. What am I supposed to do? And I'm good at this. They love me. They think I'm great. And my parents don't care. And God, you don't care. And Jesus says, I care. I bear it on the cross for you. I've already paid for all this. I'll forgive you. And I said, how can you forgive me? I've done so much. I've done so many bad things.
A friend convinced her she could manipulate and control men by stripping. She started dancing in nightclubs, and prostitution quickly followed. She pushed away any thought that what she was doing was wrong. Even though she had been raised in a church, she had no moral convictions.
I didn't care. I knew who God was. I knew that what I was doing was wrong, but I didn't care. I hated men, and I thought this was a way to repay them. That's how I looked at it. I'm getting them back for them hurting me. And I felt like I had the upper hand now, because before you guys had the upper hand and you were hurting me. Now the roles have switched, and that's how I looked at it.
One day, Danielle was invited onto the set of a porn film in Hollywood.
And I saw the check that was written out to one of the girls there. And I said, that's what you got for doing that? Where do I sign up? Because I was making a lot of money as a dancer and as an escort already, you know. But with the porn, I looked at it, that would be an even better way for me to make even more money. And I said, okay, let's go for it. After so long, it became normal. It became cool that I was a porn star.
Danielle continued as a call girl as well. And one night she accepted a client who turned out to be a psychopath who wanted to kill her.
Open the door! And for 3 weeks, that man came in there and he raped me and he beat me and he told me over and over again, I'm gonna kill you. You're not leaving here. And I believed it. I knew that I was supposed to die. And every day I got weaker and weaker and weaker to the point where I just gave up. I collapsed to the floor and I wept and I wept and I wept. But I laid there and I cried so much that I couldn't speak.
First situation that ever occurred with Mr. Trainer was where he threw me into a room with 5 people and told me that unless I took off my clothes and satisfied these people, that he would kill me. And he pulled a .45 out. And I became very brave. I said, you're not going to do this. There's 5 men in here. That, you know, they won't let you do this. And he started laughing hysterically. He says, these men don't care. He says, you're just another slut, another prostitute or this, and they don't care if you're dead or alive. And it's that constant fear. I mean, you're definitely constantly fearing for your life and lives of my parents and my family.
How did you escape from Chuck Trainer?
I had made 3 spontaneous attempts at escaping. You know, people always say, well, once you got a moment, why didn't you just run? Well, I did. I did it 3 times. I suffered a brutal beating for attempting to escape. I suffered some kind of sexual abuse for trying to escape, and the mental abuse just continued. After the 3 spontaneous attempts, I realized I'd have to really make a master plan. I'd really have to think about it. So for 6 months, I convinced Mr. Trainer that beating people was the greatest turn on, that a woman's body is definitely just to be used and abused, that, you know, all the things he wanted to hear. And I eventually was able to go into the kitchen and back in the other room 5 seconds out of his presence. And then I was able to go to the bathroom by myself. And then I was able to go into the bedroom and change my clothes by myself. And in 6 months, after 6 months, I acquired 15 minutes out of his presence. And fortunately for me, when I had the 15 minutes, I had somebody that wanted to help me. When Mr. Trainer dropped me off to rehearse, he was supposed to be back in 15 minutes. I said to this person, I said, listen, you know, this is it. Please take me somewhere. And they did, and I spent almost a week in hiding out.
How did you get involved with Jerry Damiano and Deep Throat?
I think my total involvement in the pornographic industry with 8mm was about a week. And someone had seen one of the films and told Mr. Damiano, and Mr. Trainer and him set up an appointment. And what Mr. Damiano saw in me was not the typical bleached blonde chewing bubble gum, but what he said was a girl next door.
How do you feel about producers and directors in pornography?
They're a bunch of lowlifes. They're sleazy. They don't believe that a woman is a woman, but rather a product to be used and abused. I feel sorry for them, because they're missing something they'll never have in life that's very important, and that's love and affection.
Do you think that pornography is affecting the morality of this society?
In every way. I mean, look at now. We have child pornography, the youngest victim 13 months old. We have snuff movies where they literally beat a woman to death. Just seeing the amount of the increase in rape, violence against women and children and young boys. We have a love man boy hate club or something, something like that, where they believe it's a religious thing, that it's okay to go to Jersey and grab a 12-year-old boy and take him up to Boston or Maine and teach him about having sex with another man. You know, they believe that that's wonderful.
What did you think was going to happen to you when you went to Mexico?
I probably would have been dead.
How?
Well, they do some bizarre activities in Mexico with donkeys. Let's just leave it at that. And that's what Mr. Trainer wanted to do. And I probably would not be alive today.
Knows a lot about HIV.
Yeah, let me we'll bring up HIV. How the guy's gonna go, hey, check please, gotta go. You know?
People now either enter it because of the money or the sex or the fame. You know, it boils down to those 3 reasons. The people that have the worst go at it are the ones that need to be known for something, so they're willing to do anything.
If you're in the business, California is where it is. If you do porn in New York, Miami, it's not the same because we're the porn capital.
What's your name?
Lara. See, that goes around my ankle, like this. I can't get out.
What, is this why you're shaking, because of the meds?
I could make like 8 or 9 rocks with it.
How much do you smoke a day on crack when you're out?
$50 worth. Like, I mean, I want to make this a better place for performers. That's what I really wish for.
You have a gift. Like, you have HIV. That's important. People need to hear about that.